Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This is actually from the tournament I played in the other day. Spoilers, I did a bit crap in this tournament. Yeah, Wood Elves, very unforgiving faction. So yeah, for my first outing against, some seriously competitive players, it was definitely risky, but it was a lot of fun. Learned a lot, so it's well worth it. So, as you can see, yeah, I've gone with a lot of War Dancers. I'm against the Beastmen here, I'm against Shidoku, I think it's pronounced. And so I've gone with very War Dancer heavy build. So this will just, eat up Gore herds and things. They'll do really well in the front line. But because I've just got nothing but War Dancers, they will get picked apart by ranged units pretty easily. And that's something I just didn't really bring anything for. If I just had some Eternal Guard in here, just a couple of units of Eternal Guard, just to screen out the sides, that would have been really useful. But it's a close match, and yeah, we'll go into it. So Azrai Spears on either side, because of course, they're just so good at chomping through Centaurs, provided they can catch them. I've got Orion in the middle, so just, really robust. He can, duel any of the lords that Beastmen are going to throw at me, so that's really good. I've also got the Branch Wraith, because again, you've got to have a sturdy caster in this matchup, because, a Spell Singer, yeah, if whatever unit is sort of guarding her gets broken, she'll just get killed immediately. It's really dangerous. Centaurs, just too maneuverable, and he's going to have a lot of Centaurs, because it's the Beastmen, and Centaurs are fantastic. So got to go something a bit more robust. So over here, I've got 2 units of Sisters of Thorn, so these guys will be a lot of help. Good skirmishing damage, and yeah, just those buffs are fantastic. That physical resist will help them in melee, just very useful. So here, we actually deployed right next to each other, so I did get some early shots on these Centaurs, which is great, killed a few models. These ones are coming in, so I'm sending my Azrai Spears after them, but he is pulling out. Over on this side, I actually have some Glade Riders with Hagbane tips, and they don't seem to be shooting a whole lot, but hopefully they will. But anyway, so they're being focused down by the Centaurs with Throwing Axes, so I need to pull out here. I didn't notice they were the Throwing Axes variant. I thought they were the normal Centaurs, so that was a mistake getting this close. So anyway, so you can see 2 Centaurs with Throwing Axes. He's got 2 Centaurs here. He's also got Centaurs there. Centaurs with Throwing Axes, and Centaurs with Throwing Axes, and Centaurs. So 4 of each. So he's got 4 with Throwing Axes, 4 normal ones. So pretty scary. Also, he's got Gore Herd with shields here in the front line, so, good for that sort of missile resist, and it's good to have some kind of front line. Also, he's got some Bestigors in the middle. These guys will trade very effectively against most Wood Elf, front line units. Also here, he's got the Bray Shaman of Death, so those Spirit Leeches, Fate Abuna, things like that. It's going to hurt. Also, Morga the Shadow Gave. So, Morga, I think, is really good, because those Chaos Spawn will actually do great against things like War Dancers. It'll really help in the front line. And he is just so hard to kill as well, which just, makes him really useful, I think. You can't just sort of pin him down with a Prey of Anathema and then shoot him to bits. He'll heal a lot. So it is hard to take him down, even with those kind of tactics. He's also got some Chaos Warhounds of Poison in the back, which is obviously always very useful. So let's speed things up and see how it goes. So straight away, I'm doing a bit of skirmishing here, but basically my front line, I'm going to charge straight into his. I'm trying to kite with my Glade Riders, but they don't seem to actually have fire at will on, which is really dumb. Oh no, they are firing. Good, they are actually getting some fire in. But you can see they are actually winning this trade a bit. I have done some damage to these Centaurs. I'm doing a bit of damage to these guys. But it's fairly even so far on that side. So over here, I've still got my Azrai Spears hanging out in the back, because I know there's a lot of Centaurs here. If they do try and press on the back of my line, I can send them in behind. So here, I actually use a Melkoth's on the Bestigor herd to try and help with that front line, and use a Penundral Pendulum. But I think that was a mistake. I don't think I needed to use that. With the buffs from the Sisters of Thorn, I could have used that on my front line, and that would have tipped it over the edge anyway. So I think that's how I should have dealt with it. That Penundral Pendulum, I needed those Winds of Magic to deal with the Centaurs. Here, this was a misclick, so whoops. So Hawk's Talon on nothing there, which is very annoying. So Cavalry here, I'm trying to get into the back of these Centaurs, but you see my front line is chasing a little bit too much. I need to bring these guys back into the fight. I need to bring all these guys together, because here you can see I am collapsing on these Centaurs with Throwing Axes rather nicely. I've got Azrai Spears coming in here. The, wow, yeah, Bray Shaman already routing. So this is a great catch, but look, he's got so many more, and unfortunately I did let my Glade Riders get caught out a bit there, and they'll probably get chased off. I won't see those again. So over here, these War Dancers need to get in the fray, and I need these Sisters of Thorn to countercharge these guys now that they're pinned. They'll be able to get the charge off. So here you can see they're coming in, try and help deal with them. And I've got Azrai Spears. Hard to tell where this unit is, to be honest. Everything's a bit scattered. So so this is definitely working okay. I get nice Melkoths on the Centaurs, but while I'm in a nice tight unit like this, it's pretty good. Like, I'm pretty happy as long as I stick together. Because as soon as they charge in, you know, I've got a lot of stuff to counter them with. But these throwing axes are going to do a lot of damage over time. Because, yeah, I have no missile resistance. Obviously, you know, I put the Shield of Thorns down, and that did help a little bit, but I'm not going to have that forever. Here I've got some guys sort of, well, AFK really, they need to be doing something. So unfortunately here, because these guys were a little bit spread out, they did get collapsed quite hard by a lot of the Centaurs. So these Azrai Spear, they're still fighting these Centaurs, and they're going to get caught on these Chaos Spawn as well. Actually, nope, they're chasing, which is not good. Okay, I do pull them back, that's great. So here I'm going into their frontline units again that have rallied, and I will do quite well here. These Bestigors will win. Now this is the biggest mistake I made. Having these guys chase is dumb. I should have brought them back straight away. I should have consolidated, because the Centaurs are too maneuverable. They can just pick off one unit at a time if I let this happen. And also these Centaurs just get free shots on my units here. So all these guys need to just come back. They all needed to charge those Centaurs really to stop the Centaurs from getting this rear charge. Because you can see my Sisters of Thorn have had a terrible time in here. I've done a hell of a lot of damage to, you know, a lot of these guys. So, you know, more Melkoths coming down. And that is a great move. Just slowing them down like that is massive, but it also does some good damage. Yeah, basically, forget Pendulum. I should have just been spamming Melkoths the entire time on his Centaurs, and possibly the Bestigors too, just to help me in that frontline engagement. But yeah, these Centaurs are the real problem, and you can see I've whittled them down a lot, but they're still healthier than my units are right now. And you can see Sisters of the Thorn here and the War Dancers. Here I do try and get the War Dancers in here to attack them first, hoping that my you know, Sisters of the Thorn can get out of that, not get charged, and won't get wrecked. But unfortunately the War Dancers crumble immediately. They do get the charge off, which is a real shame, because those ranged attacks from the Sisters of the Thorn, I could have whittled him down pretty well and then countercharged. But nope, he had the speed advantage there, you know, he just managed to get in too quickly. So that's a real shame. So I've lost those two units I could have brought back. But that's the thing with Centaurs, he's going to keep doing that. So over here, you know, doing pretty well with these two units. Morga, I did actually beat the crap out of earlier. But as soon as he was running away, I couldn't chase him because Centaurs suddenly charged me again, you know? And that's the beauty of Centaurs. They can be exactly where you want them to be all the time. It's very scary indeed. So these Centaurs with throwing axes, totally healthy. So I've done a lot of damage to a lot of his units, but right now he's just managed to pick off all of my War Dancers. So here, Curse of Vanra here comes down. Luckily I did get another spell off with these guys, but they shatter straight afterwards, which is really grim for me. So here, Orion is in a terrible way here. He can heal a lot, but surrounded by Bestigors and having, you know, 3 units of Centaurs with throwing axes, 4 units of Centaurs with throwing axes, all focusing him down, he's barely going to be able to heal through this. So that is very, very dangerous for me. And I've got no way of catching him. So here, annoyingly, my Branch Wraith does run off ahead, because again, I had that thing where I selected them, held Alt, you know, told them to attack, but yeah, if you've got grouped units, missile units won't listen to that sort of Alt right-click, which normally, if you Alt and right-click with ranged units, it'll force them into melee, and I'm still used to Warhammer 1 where that worked. So here you can see, with Morga coming into the fray, Orion could defeat Morga one-on-one here, but it's just not going to happen with all this backup. There's just too much backup. I've got the Branch Wraith in here, augmenting, you know, melee attack and stuff. I've got nice Hawk's Talon coming down here, doing some damage. But yeah, it's just without Orion, it's not going to be good, and he is not long for this world. There's just too much pressure on him right now. I just don't have enough support left. So, you know, do get the odd unit back, but it's nothing. So, unfortunately, I just couldn't shut down the Centaurs quick enough. It's really tough. So, yeah, that's game 1, basically. So again, other Melkoths, you know, on the Centaurs, right? It's just the Branch Wraith left, but he can't beat Morga one-on-one. So there we go, there we have it. So valiant defeat, and I think it was valiant. I was actually pretty happy with how this game went. I made a few mistakes there. That's the thing. Wood Elves, very unforgiving. The fact that I did have some War Dancers, sort of, you know, running sort of far afield, they were able to get picked off really easily because they're frail. You know, that's the thing with Wood Elf units. They absolutely ruin people, you know, if they get the right engagements. But unfortunately, if they're caught out, they just melt. They just have no health, no armor, they just die. And that's what happened, you know. I made some mistakes, and he was able to capitalize on them. Because, well, you know, he's a great player, but also, just having the Beastmen, having the Centaurs, you get so much maneuverability. And, you know, they never tire. which is just insane. So even right at the end of the fight, all these guys were totally fresh and, you know, eager to fight. So it's very scary. But yeah, you can just be anywhere you want to be. So you've got to stay, you know, as like a cohesive unit against the beastmen, or else they will take advantage. Any stray unit they see, they will shut down and then, you know, wait for you to make another mistake. So very scary stuff. But honestly, I think it was pretty close. I think I could have had him if I played things a little bit differently. I mean, you know, he might have then adapted to me playing a little bit differently and just, you know, held back and thrown axes at me for longer. But I think if I didn't bother with that pendulum, because it's a bit expensive, and used, you know, more Melkoths on his Centicores, you know, when they were charging in, hit them with the Melkoths. You know, if I'd kept my sister Thorn alive, you know, I could have timed it with a Curse of Van Rahir, and that would have really helped. You know, lowered their melee attack. I could have lowered the accuracy of the Centicores with throwing axes, you know, time and time again, so I wouldn't be taking as much damage. You know, Shield of Thorns, if I had like just a blob of units, I could have hit all of them with missile resistance, and I could have alternated between the two sisters of Thorn, you know, making sure that was active a lot of the time. So, you know, there were ways I could have really capitalized on this kind of build. Also, my Glade Riders, I let them get caught out really stupidly. These guys would have got a lot of value over time, because they're nice and quick. Really long range with those missiles, and they would have really helped whittle down some of the Centicores. But yeah, I let them get caught out. So there's a lot of things I did wrong there. But I still think it was fairly close. Unfortunately, I just couldn't. You know, there were too many Centicores with throwing axes. I think if even I'd wiped out a couple of these units, I'm not sure they would have been able to damage Orion enough. You know, for Morgan to have such an easy time when he came back into that fight. So I think that would have helped me, you know, tremendously if I was just able to focus these guys down a bit better. You know, either with the Hagbane tips or, you know, using Melkoths time and time again. So it's tough. You know, there's ways this could work, but I think I would have been better off just bringing maybe a bit more cav. I think would have been nice, and instead of a front line of all War Dancers, go Eternal Guard, so I can just keep things pinned in place a bit more. Because Orion in the front line, he's going to be able to deal with Bestigors and things, you know. So, I mean, he dealt with both of the heroes. These guys just got stomped when they came in that initial engagement. So, you know, few things I could have done differently. But, yeah, it was a fantastic match, though. Really enjoyed it. So, Shidoku, thanks for showing me the ropes. Unfortunately, the second game I had, which I'm not even going to cast because there's nothing to learn from it, it was a whitewash. I was against Beastmen again, and it was embarrassing. So you won't see that one. But yeah, it was good fun though. It was all good fun. It was a good tournament. I'll probably be playing. I'll probably be putting one other match up, I think, from it, because they were all a bit. Yeah, they weren't the best replays, honestly. Yeah, it was more sort of counter picking rather than better, you know, play necessarily. So it just wasn't particularly interesting. So there will be one more up though, I think. It was the one win I had, because, you know, I've got to get some respect back for that. So anyway, so guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.